If you didn't know already, allow us to tell you, Ronda Rousey is kind of a big deal in the UFC world. She reigns undefeated in her sport and can beat anyone up. The woman strikes fear in the hearts of her opponents from the moment they are matched up. What makes her so scary? Why are fighters really afraid of her? Let's find out. First up, she likes being a villain. Ronda's persona has built up over time as someone who's bad and takes pleasure in beating people up. As much as that's what most UFC fighters do, Ronda has convinced people that there's no one who loves it as passionately as her. She likes the villain tag pinned on her. During one of her interviews with the New York Times, the star athlete said that she was an anti-hero and she liked it that way. Now that's a powerful lady who loves herself for who she is. When you're that good, have created the persona of being really bad, and confirm on multiple forums that you love it that way, it is guaranteed to send chills down anyone's spine. And that's exactly what Ronda does, sends chills down her opponent's spines. Moving on, revelations from the nastiest in the business. There's nothing that convinces people more about something than a reliable man's word. People knew they had themselves a bigger fish when other scary players started admitting they're scared of Ronda as well. We can all agree that Conor McGregor is one big, bad, scary guy. He talks big, and then he proves himself in the fight. The UFC featherweight champion holds an 18-2 career record and is considered one of the nastiest in the present time. Well, what if we told you even he's admitted to being scared of Ronda? Yeah, that's true. This one time during his interview with SI Now, Conor admitted that he's in fact afraid to get in the ring with her, and he has his reasons for this. He narrated that one time he embraced Ronda during a chance encounter, and when he felt her back, it was all steel-hard muscle. Not only was it all muscles, but he also commented that it's probably the solidest set of back muscles he had ever come across. What's more, the fighter said that he thought to himself that he'd not survive if she ever got a hold of him. In a nutshell, Conor claimed that he'd think twice before getting in the ring with Ronda. So when the biggest and baddest boy in the UFC world utters something like that about another fighter, it does make waves and strikes fear in the hearts of others. That's some real pearls of praise if you asked us. Anyway, Conor isn't the only one who's praised Ronda. There are others who've uttered far greater words. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a big name in the boxing world who reigns undefeated in the ring. He's considered by far the greatest by the majority as far as his stats are concerned. Manny Pacquiao is another renowned name in the boxing world. When asked about Ronda, Manny commented that Ronda was strong enough to beat Floyd in a UFC match. When legends have such words coming out of their mouths for Ronda, who wouldn't be afraid of her? And now, she humiliates her opponents. The beauty in Ronda's fight isn't restricted to her winning the fight. Not only does she win fights, but she also makes sure to make it look one-sided and humiliate her opponents. That's right, she serves them with humiliating defeats. Fighting someone who makes you look so weak that no one else would take you seriously or worthy of a fight, that's far scarier than simple defeat. And when opponents get in the ring with Rousey, they aim for a respectable defeat at the very least. To give you an example, when Rousey fought Cat Zingano, she got Cat in only 14 seconds. 14 seconds! Almost instantly, Ronda had her in an arm bind. Fast forward, not so many seconds forward though, and Cat tapped. Imagine having all that trash talk before the match thrown into your face in only 14 seconds. That's the humiliation we're talking about. Even if someone proves to be agile enough to dodge Ronda's bindings, she comes down harder with an embarrassing knockout, even against the very best of fighters. Alexis Davis was one such athlete who had it all and showed potential to defeat Ronda. She had her resume made up of training in boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, and Muay Thai, yet Ronda got her with a knockout. What's more interesting is that this happened in just the first round. As soon as the fight started, Ronda had her pinned to the ground with her head clenched inside her arms. Then she started throwing bursts of punches at her face. Needless to say, she didn't last another 3 seconds. Moving on, she never forgets. There aren't a lot of things you can get done in 1 minute. Then again, Rousey isn't most people, and unlike most people, she never forgets. Ronda defeated Beth Correa in the UFC 190 main event. Not only did she defeat her, but she also did it in under a minute, at only 34 seconds. As impressive as that is, after knocking her out, Ronda yelled at Beth not to cry. Quite interestingly, these were the exact same words Beth yelled in her face during their weigh-in. She never forgets what someone said to her and pays them back in ridicule. We bet the moment her opponent enters the ring to face her, all the things they ever said to Ronda must flash before their eyes. And just kidding. When someone makes it a point to rub your face in your own dump, it makes other fighters scared like nothing else. Up next, she isn't afraid of anyone. This is another reason fighters lose their heart in front of Ronda, because she isn't afraid of anyone. She is a fierce woman outside of the ring and an even more ferocious fighter inside it. An average fighter would think twice before taking a jab at the 11-time champ Floyd Mayweather. Yet Ronda has done it multiple times and isn't scared to take him on. When UFC President Dana White made a claim that Ronda could beat Floyd in an actual fight, the boxing legend had to jump in for his honor. He was quick to react, saying he hadn't even heard Ronda's name. He also took a jab at her, saying she could call him only after making $300 million. Ronda, being Ronda, wasn't the one to back out of a fight. She almost instantly hit back that that Floyd should learn how to read and write first, because she's making way more than him. When you can trash talk a legend like that, people start getting intimidated and wonder what you are made of. Go Ronda. And finally, her stats paint the scariest picture. Even if someone manages to turn a shut eye to Ronda's dominating persona, there's no way anyone could ignore such splendid stats as a fighter. These are the strongest reasons why all other fighters are afraid of her. First of all, she came from a line of fighters. Her mother was the first American to win a gold medal at the World Judo Championships. Following in her mother's footsteps, Ronda became a superior judoka who was the first American woman to win an Olympic medal in judo. She earned a bronze medal in the 2008 Summer Olympics. Standing at 5 foot 7 inches and with a reach of 66 inches, Ronda was a fierce fighter whose beauty was in her submission techniques. She reigned as the UFC bantamweight champion for 6 straight years. She was also the Strikeforce bantamweight champion before UFC acquired it. Ronda also had 3 consecutive Female Fighter of the Year titles to her name. Out of her 12 wins, she won 9 by submission and the other 3 by knockout or technical knockout. What made her all the more intimidating was that most of her fights never made it to a second round. She'd be so quick to finish her opponent off or force a knockout that only 1 or 2 fights in her career made it past the first round. With the fastest submission in only 14 seconds and the fastest knockout in 16 seconds, she was a force to be reckoned with. For her wins, her average fight length stands at only 2 minutes. What's more, Ronda had the longest winning streak for a female fighter in the UFC, with 12 wins to 0 losses. Ronda was indeed one scary opponent who made the hearts of her opponents sink. Even after her retirement, she's regarded by a vast majority of people in the MMA world to be the most dominating athlete in the mixed martial arts world, and some even regard her as the most dominating athlete in all of the sports. We'd say that's a matter of opinion, but this much is true: fighters really did tremble when hearing the name of Ronda Rousey. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think made the greatest female fighter, Ronda Rousey, the scariest of them all? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.